All right, we're live here from the barn. It's a bit dark in here, but that's all right. Lights I got are working. Can't see much behind me, but there's not much to see. It's pretty disorganized in here. Pull up my other phone. Just got a new phone, by the way. After 4 years of the old phone. Pull up the good old chat. Yeah. There we go. All right. So how's everyone doing tonight? This wonderful fall weekend. Hey Grizz, how's it going? Eating homemade apple pie and vanilla ice cream. Apple pie a la mode. That's some good stuff right there. Wahawk, how's it going? Better signal tonight on my end. Probably better signal on my end too, because hey Cornbread, how's it going? Probably a lot better signal on my end because where I'm sitting right here, there's my sharpener, and just on the other side of this metal wall, that's where the router is. So I'm pretty close to the router, which should help a lot, I would hope. So today, one of the things we worked on a lot, there's the mezzanine. That's the 12 by 12 area that we already built. And up on top of that, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we put up there for storage. And you can kind of see that we're already starting on the next section of it. So we're going to have another 12 by 12 section of it. So we're going to have 12 by 24 very soon. I just brought another log down from the pile to mill a bunch of 2x8 12 footers, or a little over 12 foot actually, to build this next section. And then once we do that, we'll build another 12-foot section, and then there's a 4-foot section, or we could do it in 2 8-foot sections, which we may actually do that just for added strength for that corner. That corner of the building will give us a lot more strength, so we could actually store even more heavier things. But we got quite a bit stored on this corner right now already with all the poplar framing that we did, and it doesn't even know it's there. It's like not even moving whatsoever. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be fine either way. But we picked up these 6x6s a couple days ago at Lowe's. And today I just put those posts up. So we're going to get started on that this week and hopefully get it done by next weekend. And we'll have a 12 by 24 mezzanine up there for storage. And then with any luck, we'll have the mobile home delivered within the next week or so, I hope. We were told 2 to 3 weeks on the 11th by the same moving company that Green Acre Homestead had their home moved. So if you just do a search on YouTube for Green Acre Homestead, they're actually in the same county. They're about 10 minutes or so probably away from where we are. They just had their mobile home moved from North Carolina by the same company. So hopefully, with any luck, we're going to have our mobile home here very soon. Yeah, that was Ryan, Grizz. I just seen some critter run behind you. That was Ryan. He's up on the mezzanine. What are you doing, Ryan?
I was looking for movies, but then I just realized none of my devices have a disk drive anymore.
You could use one of the Xboxes.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Yeah. So Ryan went up onto the mezzanine. He just came behind me. He went up on the mezzanine looking for some DVDs. There's Ryan. Ryan's actually the one who pretty much built most of this.
Yeah.
I've been busy, so I milled a lot of this wood, but he pretty much built all of this. All the flooring up there, we did subflooring, 1-inch poplar for subflooring. We're going to continue on with that 1-inch subflooring poplar, which is going to be really strong for us. And then the main flooring, we're going to go the other direction and do something different, another hardwood. But let's see. Wallhawk says, pay no attention to the Dylan man child in the background. Gris said, good job, Ryan.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
There you go. That makes a lot more sense.
I'm just so used to saying that instead.
Say hi.
Hi.
So Ryan's been a big help with like everything I've been doing. He's been my right-hand man. I've been giving him a lot of instructions on things to do, and he just runs with it, and he's been doing a great job. So the next section here, I'm going to get the joists, the rim joists up and start hanging the joists. And then once I get to that point, I'm just going to hand it off to him, and he should be able to just finish it from there, which will be really nice. Wallhawk says, and he's attempting to care. Well, I have to say he must care because this thing's holding up pretty well. We're not building it with pine, that's for sure. I'll give you a little peek here. There's all the blocking that he did. All the floor joists. And we probably got at least 2 or 3 tons of storage up there. And it doesn't even know it's up there. So it's holding up really well. And for what we're going to use it for long term, that's going to be way more strong than we need it to be. But that's good. Grizz says if you're going to put 2 layers of floor down, put the first layer on at a 45 and the second layer across the joist. So we put the first layer on at a 90. So I was actually thinking the second layer, putting that on at a 45. Does that make sense? Does that work, do you think? Because that was kind of my thought, was we already started putting the subfloor layer, 1-inch poplar, which is hardwood, on there for the subfloor, which is going to be way stronger than any plywood or whatever we're going to put on there. And then we'll put walnut or cedar or oak, something up there for the final floor. And we're thinking about putting that up there on a 45. And I thought that would look actually kind of cool because you'll have the finished floor up there on a 45. Which would kind of look pretty fancy, don't you think?
Yeah.
Some really nice trim up there. So Grizz said you don't have to worry about nailing into the cracks. Yeah, exactly. Wallhawk says cedar is too soft. So I guess we'll go with walnut or oak. So walnut for a darker, or Grizz said, well, usually they put the first layer at an angle, but it works either way. So we're going to put the first layer perpendicular to the joists, and then the next layer, so the first layer is 1 inch. The next layer we're probably going to do like 3/4 inch, and we'll probably do like shiplap or tongue and groove, which really I don't think is even going to matter, because there's there's a lot of strength up there, and it's just going to be, we have quite a bit stored up there right now, and it's not going to be used that heavily when it comes down to it. So yeah, it doesn't really, I don't think it's really going to matter. Wahawk says alternate oak and walnut. That would look cool. Oh, that's a cool idea. So we'll kiln dry some oak and walnut, and I'm going to let Ryan choose because it's going to be his space. So, right? But it's going to look pretty sweet. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to give us a lot more space here. So this week, pretty much, let's see. This week we spent a lot of time, cleared out the retail space that we rented, that we thought we were going to use, but we didn't. And we got that completely emptied out and signed off on that, got all that done. So we no longer have the rent there every month. So that's going to be really nice. That's going to reduce our monthly expenses quite a bit, by about 30%. Pigs are doing good. They're growing. The chickens, same deal. Hopefully they're going to start laying eggs soon. You got to build them or run. The big projects that we have to get done this week are going to be, I have a big batch of blades, which I don't know if you can see behind me if I wiggle this camera around, but you can see there's a big black batch of blades right there. I got 28 blades I got to sharpen. I got about 10 of them sharpened tonight. So I get those done for a customer. I have a chicken coop that I'm building for another customer for a small chicken farm locally here. Get that chicken coop built, delivered. And I have a ton of logs that I did a little bit of work trade on a property up on the mountain that we have to go up and pick those up. So tomorrow we're going to hopefully get the excavator finished and fixed so we can run that. This way I can take the tractor up there, load the tractor on the trailer, bring it up to that property, load the logs onto the trailer with the tractor, and then bring the logs back here and unload them with the excavator, because loading and unloading is kind of a big deal. I don't have a dump trailer anymore, and the dump trailer still probably wouldn't have got it done because these logs are a lot longer than that was anyway. So I have a 20-foot trailer that I'm going to put those logs on, and then hopefully we'll have a machine here to unload those early in the week. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get the excavator fixed. Monday I'm hopefully going to be getting another excavator here. They're going to trade me a smaller excavator for the one I have with cash on top of that, which is going to help us a lot. We'll have that excavator here, have the tractor up on the mountain, loading the logs on the trailer up there. We'll unload them here with the excavator. And then somewhere in there, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll finish up the chicken coop that I'm building for a customer and deliver that as well. Hopefully after that, we'll be able to spend a good week or two here on the property without having to go anywhere. That's the goal. We have more than enough food, water, everything here that we need. So hopefully after Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or so, we'll be able to spend hopefully most of, if not the whole month of November here on our property working on things that we need to get done here. Wallhawk says, make him watch Karate Kid so he learns how to sand the floor. He's going to be doing a lot of sand the floor, that's for sure. I told him that too. So we still have the planer that I had up in New Hampshire. So we're going to plane a lot of that wood. We're going to dry it. The finished floor, we're definitely going to be drying it down to 7 to 10%, and run that through the planer and put it up there before, and then we'll sand and finish it. Wallhawk says 30%, that's good beer budget. Yeah, right. Hey Robert, how's it going? Good to see you. Robert says, you gave Grizz a wrench? Oh no. Grizz says, Mike, you're putting training wheels on your new excavator. I probably should. Or at least wheelie bars so I don't tip it over anymore. Log says, lost connection for a second. So that planer's stored somewhere back there in the barn. Keep hearing noises back here in the barn. Of course, we got barn cats, so they're hanging out here somewhere. So I was planning on originally doing the live from the camper with Stacy, but she's not feeling great, which is why she's not here now. And we were talking, and we're actually thinking probably going to do live streams kind of like when it feels convenient for us. Live streams kind of like when it feels convenient for us. I like the idea of scheduling them, but it gets a little tough. Like tonight, I was hoping to try to get all these blades sharpened for this customer. He's hoping to pick them up tomorrow, and I'm gonna still kind of probably stay up and get these done for him, or most of them done tonight, and finish those up tomorrow for him so he can pick them up. And then tomorrow I'll finish up that chicken coop, hopefully, so we can deliver that on Monday or Tuesday. And then hopefully once all that's done, we can start kind of focusing back here on the homestead. I'll show you what we were working on today. Oh, that camera's pretty blurry. Let's go back to this. I got a new phone with a new camera, by the way, so once I get the new case for that camera, that phone, I'll use that one, but I don't want to use it too much right now because I don't want to break it. So you can see here we put these 6x6 posts up today. We use these Simpson tie angle brackets to tie them to the building. And then we used the same brackets down there to tie it to the concrete. So those were tied in pretty tight. This bracket here ties it down to the concrete as well. And then it's tied back in here to the first section of the mezzanine that we put in first. And then we'll put in some rim joist up there, and then we're going to run joists across just like we did on the other one. So basically it's going to be built just like this one. And it's all built with poplar, which is a pretty solid hardwood. It's a lot of straight grain stuff that we got here that we picked up from somebody who cleared their property. So we got pretty lucky with getting those logs. We're going to be getting a lot more logs from another property like I was talking about, hopefully very soon, probably in the next week or so, get those milled up and we'll be able to completely finish this mezzanine. We're gonna hopefully go, you probably can't see it, but hopefully go all the way back to the back of the building, all the way back there to the back corner, and then all the way to the other corner. So we're gonna like do like the barn through the big barn doors with equipment there, and we'll have plenty of ceiling height on that side. Let's see. Bent Wedge, Stanley Brand. Hey, how's it going? Hello, everyone. Hello. Wallhawk says, I think Mike only has one shirt left. Should we start a GoFundMe? So it's funny. You see this shirt pretty much on every video and the live streams and all that. When COVID started, we were helping out a lot of the local hospitals up there in New Hampshire. So we were kind of at home. I just quit my job, and me and the kids were hanging out. So we wanted to learn to run a sewing machine and learn to make stuff with a sewing machine. So we started making masks for a lot of the hospitals and the nurses that would be reusable and washable. So we got in contact with Southern New Hampshire Health, and they gave us, I don't know, probably 100 of these shirts and said, cut those up and use them to make masks. So that's what we did. And we made a good batch of them and gave them those. And then we kind of ran into issues trying to make them, and it was kind of becoming a pain. Stopped making them, but so I still have a ton of these shirts. So I probably have 50 of these shirts at least. So if you see me wear these shirts every day, that's why. Because I don't really care what I wear. I'm not trying to compete on a fashion show or anything. Grizz says you're going to be jealous of my new wood cook stove. It was just given to me. It would be nice in your shop. I actually was just talking to Stacy about that and telling her we should get a wood cook stove. They're so expensive, like even used, like people are trying to get like crazy money for them. But every once in a while, somebody does post one up, like that's fairly inexpensive. So I'm hoping to get one of those. I'm probably not going to install it in the mobile home or in the barn here. I'm actually thinking about building like a separate like a dining building or like an outdoor kitchen, that sort of thing. So like building like a pavilion with some walls and put like a wood cook stove in that we can cook in and eat, and potentially even heat with that, close it in the winter. I don't know, just kind of an idea that I've been throwing around. So something I've been thinking about. So I don't know what you think about that, but I think that would be cool. Like something here on the property, like an outdoor kitchen where we can like cook outside, because the weather's pretty mild here. So the winters aren't going to get too crazy. So we should still be able to cook outdoors on a wood cook stove in like an outdoor kind of setup. I think that would be a lot of fun. Last year, for instance, was 75 degrees on Christmas Day. January, February, we had a lot of 70-degree days here. So I think it would be perfectly fine just to kind of do an outdoor kitchen type setup. Let's see. Grit said a friend was given a truckload of greenhouse panels. He asked me to help get them. That would be cool. We have a big roll of greenhouse plastic here. We're working on building a greenhouse, a big greenhouse, so we can plant in the off season. Wallhawk says do a 55-gallon barrel stove and mount a flat plate on top. I was actually thinking of doing that for maple syrup when the maple season comes. Unfortunately, the maple season here is a lot shorter, so you have to like really jump on it. But in New Hampshire and Vermont, of course, we have a longer maple season. Grizz said when we got there, he had an old wood cook stove sitting outside. So of course I asked. He said if I can load it, I can have it. Wow, that's really good. That's awesome. It's in good shape too. Yeah, I would totally jump on that. I would love to get a wood cook stove. The panels are rigid plastic panels with air insulation. That would be awesome. But yeah, it's pretty quiet here. So pull the camera off the charger here. So I got the camera sitting right here by the door. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the door to the outside. There's the barn. I don't know if you can hear the silence. Very quiet out here. Chirp, chirp. That's the corner of the barn, but it's pretty black out there. That's the outside of the barn. There you go, as you can see. No lights, nothing. Out there is woods for miles and miles. Drew says, looks like a secondhand store. Wallhawk says, we all know what you're doing, Mike. You do? What am I doing? Yeah, you probably know. Hey, sometimes nature calls, okay? Give me a break. I'm actually sitting here, speaking of that. I did mark my territory. Trucker Carlson, I love it. How's it going? Hello, I think I found your channel from the Facebook Homestead page. Oh, sweet. Where are you located at? So we're here in Northeast Tennessee, just relocated from New Hampshire. I was actually just scoping out today. Truck outside of Kingsport. Nice. Well, you're not far away. I got a friend up in Kingsport. My friend Nathan lives up there. Grace said, your wood splitter is all wrong. You're going to spoil your wife with it. Remove the hydraulic lift. Yeah, right. Chuck Carlson says, not much of a homestead on my end, only have an acre. You can do a lot with an acre. We moved here in our property. We had 2.5 acres. Before that, we had 1.5 acres. Before that, we did have a larger property, but most of it wasn't usable. And the property we had before that was 1/4 of an acre. Which, with that 1/4 of an acre, we really couldn't do a lot. But an acre, you can do a pretty good amount of stuff up there. You can get a good garden going. If your community allows it, you can have chickens. With chickens, it's like probably the best thing you can do. Keep raising and incubating them. Get a lot of eggs from them. This live stream tonight is probably going to be a little bit shorter than most. I gotta get these blades sharpened. Stacy wasn't feeling well, so she didn't join me on this one, which made me really think, going forward, we're probably just going to do live streams kind of when it's convenient for us and when we can kind of schedule them at a reasonable time. We'll try to do them on Saturday nights. So it's like a weekend night when the kids don't have school the next day. So we're probably going to try to stick with the same time slot, but just kind of do them every 3 to 5 weeks or so. If that makes sense. If you can have American chicken, there are no law restrictions. Chinese chickens, yeah. I like the chicken fingers, I'd like some Chinese chickens because like they taste good with like the sweet and sour sauce, like really good. You know what I'm saying? Wahawk says live from Mossheim. It's Saturday night. Yeah, Mossheim. So I did get a new phone. I'm trying not to break it before I get a new cover for it. Chris says, egg production sucks, but they make great meat birds. American chicken, there are no laws. Yeah, so one of the things I was actually looking at, I was actually researching a good, like, kind of all-purpose chicken. And the Brahmas seem to be a pretty good all-purpose chicken because they'll lay, but they also weigh anywhere from like 5 to 8 pounds at full grown. So you can process them and you can even can them, which I've been looking into. So we're probably going to do that. But as you know, independence is our goal here on the property. Our goal is to be completely independent of anything, government, other people. So we're hoping to grow our own meat, vegetables, food, all that stuff, water, and, generate our own heat, all that stuff, electricity. Wallhawk says, Mike offers small animal sacrifices, original or extra crispy. I can do that. I can definitely sacrifice small animals. That's pretty easy for me. I'm actually planning on building, so I was just talking to Stacy about this today. I'm like dying to get out to the property. I just scoped out a spot tonight, a nice level area, about 500-600 feet from here, down in the woods, a nice level area, to build an off-grid cabin, like a kind of hunting camp that I want to build out there. I don't know if I want to do like a log cabin but I want to do something that I can build just like with all hand tools and just kind of go out there quietly and just kind of build something, just kind of a shelter, which I think would be a lot of fun. Wallhawk says, also chicken. My eyes are terrible. Also, chicken flied live available. Oh, chicken lice. Chicken fried lice. Trucker Carlson says, are you a carpenter by trade? So, you know what's funny is I'm not. I do a lot of building. I've been learning a lot from other people. Grizz is one of them, who himself is a former carpenter, contractor. So I try to take advice from other people that I know that have been in the business specifically, and which is how I, built this. I send people my designs, ask them for feedback, and ask them to give me some advice on how I should change it. And then the building part's actually very easy. It's pretty much, to me, just assembling a structure. So prior to doing all this stuff, I was, like Wahawk said, I was an IT guy. So I managed data centers, security, and networks, and servers, and all that stuff. And I wired up server rooms, and I did all that stuff prior to this. I did that for about 18 years or so. And then I got into woodworking, and I love running my sawmill, and just I like the technical part of like assembling and putting things together. So I like to come up with a plan before I do that. And that's just kind of in my nature, in the technical nature. So I like to lay things out with a really good plan before I do it, which works out pretty well. And everything to me has to be square and perfect when I put it together. So sometimes it takes me a lot more time, but it comes out the way it should. Sometimes it's trial and error, and it doesn't come out the way it should, and I learn that way. But for the most part, I try to do my best to try to do it right the first time. So yeah, like Wallhawk says, Gris said, we will call it Mike's Doghouse. Wallhawk says, former IT guy. That's me. Gris said, after being an IT guy, it really surprises me that you have the brains for carpentry. Yeah, I get that a lot, actually. It's funny. Actually, you know what I get a lot is when people said, people ask me like, what was your main trade? What was, what did you do for a career? And I tell people, IT, I managed computer systems and this and that. And I'm out there like brush hogging their property or doing excavation. They're just looking at me like, I hope we hired the right guy, And they're like, really? That kind of surprises me. And I'm like, yeah, I just really got sick of sitting in a computer. Sitting in a computer wasn't really my thing. I did it for years and I enjoyed it. I used to go out to data centers and networks, and I used to run cabling, and I used to rack servers, and I configure them, and I get them hooked up and running, and that was kind of rewarding to me. But when it got to the point where they pretty much said, you can work from home and just sit there and on your computer and just use your keyboard to do whatever. And I'm like, all right. So I did that for a bit, and yeah, didn't want to do that anymore. I liked being out there and moving around, and the rewarding part of like building something. And I like building things, and that's what I did. I built networks, I built servers and server rooms and data centers, and I created stuff. And then when it got to the point where I did everything from home, sitting at a computer, it didn't feel like that anymore. So then I always wanted, for years, I always wanted to get into woodworking and building things and being creative with wood and building stuff. And so I started doing that and creating stuff, doing woodworking, sawmilling, and that just like transitioned into what I'm doing now. So it's kind of funny how that worked out. It's definitely not a carpenter by trade, but a carpenter by accident, I guess is the best way to put it. Wallhawk says, "Hey, I hear Twitter is hiring." Grizz said, "When is the delivery date?" So for the house, we don't have a date, but they told us for the mobile home. So we bought a used mobile home cheap. There's a video on the channel about explaining that whole thing. So they told us 2 to 3 weeks, and that was on the 11th. 3 weeks is going to be, I think, Tuesday. They told us that they would contact us a few days before. We haven't heard from them yet. So Monday, if I don't hear from them by then, I'm going to be calling them and asking them for like kind of an update on what we're doing here. The last moving company we hired, they kind of kept blowing us off, and we just got sick of that. So, all right. So I've been on here for over 40 minutes. I'm probably going to jump off here in a second, get back to sharpening these blades. Hopefully get back on here with another live stream in the next, I don't know, probably a week or two. Hey, Stacy Dillon says hi, everyone. Everyone has to say hi to Stacy. We can't just like ignore that. So Stacy, if anyone who doesn't know, Stacy is my boss. I mean, my wife. So Trucker's new here. Say hi to Stacy. Moose Knuckle Outdoors. Good evening, Grizz. Grizz said I should come over or he would ground me. Nice. Well, now we have to stick around for a few minutes. I'm sorry. I was going to jump off, but Stacy's here and Moose Knuckle and so what's up, Stacy? Grizz said, "Who invented that riffraff?" No, but I actually should probably get back to sharpening my blades. Who invited that riffraff? Moose Knuckle. Moose Knuckle, subscribe if you haven't, so this way when we go live next time, get on here a little sooner, right? Come on now. Where you been? Moose Knuckle says, "I'm not sure who invented it, Grizz, but I wasn't invited." We are invited now. Although it's kind of late, but he said, "I'm already subscribed." Well, apparently those notifications suck. But as you can see from the pile of blades, well, you probably can't see the pile of blades. That big freaking pile of blades right there, they're not going to sharpen themselves. And I got a customer who wants to pick them up like in the next 24 hours. Moose Knuckle says, I'm going to get timed out. Watch. I don't think so. If I haven't been timed out, you're not going to be. So, yeah, I better jump off, get those freaking blades sharpened because I got somebody waiting for those. So, yeah, as you can see what we've been up to. Second stage in the mezzanine going up. Hopefully this week we're going to have a 12 by 24 section done and have the chicken coop done and out of here. Hopefully these blades will be sharpened and done and out of here, and we can start focusing on the mobile home if it actually shows up, which would be freaking awesome. I mean, it would be about freaking time. Grizz says, country living. Moose, what's your channel name again? Country living. Yes. Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out. Country living is your channel name? Is that right? I like that. I like the sound of that. Here we're practically independent because we kind of are practically independent. But at the same time, we're trying to be practical and independent at the same time. If that makes sense. Probably doesn't. Hope y'all like my hat. Wallhawk says, isn't that part of the theme to Green Acres? Country living. Probably. Oh, there we go. Country living. This is my main. Grid says, how many subs? Country living says over 8K something. Well, that's more than twice what we got, but that's cool. Well, I'm hoping everyone enjoys what we're working on here. Hopefully I'm going to start doing some off-grid cabin building. When I do, I'm probably just going to throw a camera up there, not really say anything at all, just kind of build them and do my thing. Wallhawk says we need to get Mike a bigger screen. Screen? I don't think so. Grizz said, is it posting? Is what posting? And he said no. Oh, there you go. There's the link. So I'm gonna click on that. Let's see. I want to click on that. There we go. Country living. Subscribe. There you go. I subscribed. Now I gotta figure out how to get back to my new phone. Is very confusing to me. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. So I subscribed and I'm back. But all right, for real. Almost an hour now. You guys are causing me to be a procrastinator. This customer is going to be looking for his blades tomorrow. Grizz said if you like good humor, sub to Moose Knuckle as well. I will do that. But I'm going to jump off here now because I got to get these blades sharpened or somebody's not going to be happy. And they're not going to be able to mill some good wood here. So I'm going to get these blades sharpened. We're going to get going here. And we'll see you guys all on the next live stream. Please subscribe. Pay attention to the notifications. And jump on here next time we're live. I love talking to you guys. And hope we'll see you next time. Peace.